When it comes to growing your own food, one thing is for certain. There's no such thing as too much homemade compost, but there are a lot of myths that surround composting, and so I thought I'd make this video to highlight 5 and bust them and show you that making your own compost at home is so much simpler than many sources say. The first myth is that composting takes up too much space and you've got to sacrifice precious growing space in order to make your own compost. And a lot of people think, what's the point? And I'm here like, homemade compost is one of the best things that you can do to your garden. It's one of the best investments. It's probably the most valuable square meter of your growing space, because all you need is a square meter of growing space, or 3 by 3 foot, to have a simple compost bin to create a huge amount of microbially rich compost in your garden. And if you just have a balcony or a patio, then you need even less space, because you could do something like using a worm bin. Now also, there's nothing stopping you from using your compost bin, this here is a hotbed, so it's a style of composting, as a place to grow food as well. You can see I have squash growing out of here, and at the base I also have comfrey planted, which is soaking up all of the nutrients coming off this compost heap, and I can harvest that and use that as a liquid feed in my garden. And if you just have a compost bin where you could even stick a pallet on top, you could put some containers on top of that and grow things like nasturtiums. And so you actually don't have to sacrifice any growing space whatsoever. It can actually increase the productivity of your garden, plus you get compost. Another myth is that composting takes too much time. And it can. If you're just composting one ingredient, like autumn leaves, it might take 2 or 3 years before it's ready. But for the most part, cold composting, which is the main technique I use in this garden, and I'm sat next to 2 cold compost bins here in the shade, and these... Now, the main technique of composting I use is cold composting. It's where I keep on adding materials into the compost bin until it's full, and then I leave it. But on average, cold compost with the right mix, and we're going to go into number 3, the third myth, which is like the main one after this. But if you leave it for around 6 to 12 months, it's going to be ready. Anywhere between 6 to 12 months. I'll give you a little tip. The finer or the smaller that you break down the ingredients, the faster it is going to break down. Now, the other thing is, for those of you that are impatient or want quick results, let's say you're creating a new garden and you want like compost to work with in a matter of weeks, here's a little extract from a clip that I filmed over the weekend with Penny Edica, who realised that compost that she made 5 weeks ago was ready. So you can have compost in as little as 5 weeks.
So on the 10th of July, we harvested our potatoes because they were getting blight. And we also harvested our broad beans. So I smashed them up, mixed them with grass and muck and sawdust and biochar, and literally that is 5 weeks ago. So when I clear my beds and get ready to plant my garlic, the end of September, beginning of October, I've already composted all my potato tops and all my broad beans, ready to fertilise my garlic crop over the winter. It really works.
So this kind of compost pile is compost that you can make anywhere. You can see you don't need a physical bin or boundary to make that compost. And it's known as supercharged compost. And Penny is one of the teachers on my composting and hotbed masterclass course. And she can show you exactly how to make her supercharged compost. And so there's a link down below. My goal is to make growing food as accessible as possible to as many people as possible, and part of that is demystifying things that might seem a little confusing. For example, crop rotation. I haven't bothered or worried about crop rotation for 10 years because it just makes things a little bit more complex, and this isn't a video about crop rotation, but it's just an example. Now, this comes to the main one with composting, the one that makes it seem like it has to be a science, and I do think it is very off-putting for new gardeners, and it's this thing called the carbon to nitrogen ratio. Like, we're not in a science lab here, we're in a garden, and a lot of resources say that, like, to make compost you need to make some say either a 30 to 1 carbon to nitrogen ratio or a 24 to 1 carbon to nitrogen ratio. Now, if I've already lost you, that exactly proves my point. I am here to tell you that the microbes in your compost bin, they're not there with weighing scales and microscopes measuring the carbon to nitrogen ratio. That doesn't exist in nature. If anything was living, it will break down into compost. And with everything in life, it is all about balance. So don't worry really about that 30:1. Actually, don't worry at all about that 30:1 carbon to nitrogen ratio. There's just 3 ratios that you need to think about, which is your green materials, which are usually fresh and moist, and these are the ones high in nitrogen, and your brown materials, which are usually dry and old, and these are high in carbon. For example, this sweet pea is turning into quite a high carbon kind of material for the compost bin. And you want to aim for a ratio of around 2:1 or 1:1 in either direction of greens to browns. That's all I've been doing for over 15 years, and it works, and it will get you compost in 6 to 12 months. Now, if most of your material coming from the garden is plant matter, for example, when these stop flowering, I'll probably cut these back at the base, stick it on the compost. These are around the perfect ratio. Any kind of plant matter coming out of your garden is ideal. Most of my compost bins are about 80% plant matter, because there's naturally going to be enough carbon there. Like these sweet peas, once I've saved the seeds, all of this brown material goes into the compost bin, and it's as simple as that. Just think about a rough balance of greens and browns, or just mainly plant material coming out from your garden, and that's it. The next myth is composting smells bad. Now, what we have to understand about myths is that they're a bit like jokes. There's an element of truth to them. And composting, it can smell bad. If you're just going to put just fill a compost bin with grass clippings, it is going to turn into this like anaerobic sludge, and it's going to be very stinky. But if you just use a balance of materials, like the simple thing of composting is a diversity of ingredients coming out of your garden, putting into your compost bin, that's totally fine. What I would recommend is avoid cooked food and avoid composting dairy and meat. So as long as you just avoid those things and use a nice diverse mix of things, and you've got a bit of a balance between your greens and browns, you're going to be totally fine. If you find that your compost is a little bit whiffy, then add some browns, like add a load of autumn leaves or add a load of straw and mix that in, and that'll help balance it out. Now, another kind of related myth that I'll just throw in as a bonus is rats. Composting attracts rats. Well, again, it can attract rats, but so can garden sheds, so can keeping chickens, so can having your bins outside. They can all attract rats. But as long as what I found, avoid putting cooked foods into your compost bin, then you don't have to worry about it. If you're really worried about rats, you can put in even your veg peelings and stuff like that in a worm compost bin that you can keep inside or something like that. But outside, it doesn't matter. For over 15 years, I have never discovered a rat's nest in one of my compost bins. So I'm not saying that it never happens, but it doesn't mean that it always happens, if that makes sense. This next myth is one of my favorites, that you have to turn compost to make compost. And that can be very off-putting, because it is a lot of material and it is really heavy. And if you've just got one compost bin, it isn't very practical trying to get to the bottom and turn things round. And the thing is, I don't turn my compost basically ever. I've done it a couple of times where I've created a new bin and I've just done one flip into the new bin and it just aerates it a bit. But I'll tell you something quite interesting. So I mentioned that composting masterclass course that teaches 3 different ways of making compost, including pathway composting as an extra on top of the 3, and not one of those involve turning your materials or your ingredients. So turning can be avoided. Composting can save you time. You can be lazy with it. So you can watch this video here, which is the art of lazy composting, to find out more, and also check out the composting masterclass, where it's just a no-nonsense guide to creating amazing fertility that makes growing plants like this possible.